When you hear venture capital today, you may think of flying cars or sending people to space, but the industry may have started hundreds of years ago with a whale hunt. Let's dig in. Imagine you're the captain of a whale hunting expedition in the year 1820. To get started, you need a lot of investment up front. You needed to rent or buy a huge ship and convince a crew to go on this dangerous journey into the unknown with you at the helm. And investors back then, like now, would help pay for these expeditions in exchange for a share of the future profits, essentially buying equity shares in the whaling venture. They'd own up to, say, 40% of the profits, while a captain would get 10%, the first man 5%, and so on. And as you might imagine, the journey was fraught with danger. Up to a third of crew members deserted, another third were discharged, and there was a very real danger the ship could go down and the crew killed. One particularly infamous voyage of the time actually inspired Herman Melville's Moby Dick. With a track record of success and a reputation as a lucky ship, the Essex set sail from Nantucket into the Pacific for what everyone expected to be a lucrative whale hunt. But in November of 1820, an 85-foot sperm whale rammed the ship's port side. The 238-ton whale ship capsized and sank, while crew members scrambled into 3 smaller whaleboats and tried to salvage what they could for the wreckage. A month later, the crew landed in a deserted island in the middle of the Pacific. Some stayed while others headed for the coast of South America, some 3,000 miles away. 2 months later, they would be saved by another whale hunting ship off the coast of Chile. Most whale hunting expeditions came up empty-handed, and the likelihood of success was very hard to predict. And it would take an extremely long time to know if the venture paid off. One voyage in the whale ship Nile returned home 11 years later, and most whaling expeditions lasted more than 3 years. So agents emerged who specialized in picking the right captains and right expeditions to fund. They knew which areas and hunting grounds would be most bountiful, and they could figure out which captains were effective by looking at logbooks, which provided details on each journey and their finances. This was really valuable information that was kept secret and was essentially the equivalent of intellectual property or proprietary technology of a startup at that time. Even if entrepreneurs today don't face the same life and death stakes faced by whalemen, there are still uncanny similarities between whaling and startups. The captains of the whale hunting era were akin to the entrepreneurs of today, with whaling agents playing the role of venture capitalists who invested money in exchange for very uncertain, illiquid, but potentially massive upside on behalf of wealthy families who were the limited partners of today. Likewise, startup ventures often take 10 to 15 years from founding to IPO. But when an expedition went well, it was extremely lucrative and more than made up for the losses. This mirrors the power law of startups, where just a handful of wildly successful companies turn into the next trillion-dollar Google or Facebook and account for the vast majority of value creation. It's actually uncanny how similar whale expedition returns mirrored that of VC returns today. And New Bedford, the center of whaling, was considered the richest area of America and was essentially the Silicon Valley of its time. And just like the VCs of today, the best whale agents did a much better job picking the right expeditions to fund and dramatically outperformed the industry average. We know how this story ends, sadly, as whales were hunted almost to extinction and the industry died off. But that wasn't the end of venture capital. Another massive opportunity arose with the arrival of America's first factories for cotton and steel manufacturing. Then later, commercial aerospace came along, and eventually the semiconductor industry was born, which is how Silicon Valley got its name. If you want to hear that or anything else, let me know in the comments. And if you like my video, please do me a huge favor and hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.